Hi there, I'm Noob-Tastic, and welcome to another Noob-Tastic tutorial. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of topics that are useful for traveling around New Eden safely. These topics involve an Insta Dock, an Insta Undock, the Micra Warp Drive trick, and the Cloaky Micra Warp Drive trick. Now, if you're not here for one of those 4 topics, you're at the wrong video. But if you're here, we're going to talk a lot about them, we're going to get familiar with them, and we're going to teach you just a little bit about how to be safer in New Eden. So let's get right to it. The first thing we want to talk about is the Insta Undock. So the importance of an Insta Undock is when you undock from a station, you want to be able to warp instantly away from the station. Now, I know a lot of corporations have their own specific Insta Undocks. You want your own personal one. This is something that you're familiar with. So how do you make an Insta Undock? It's very simple. First, you want to get into a fast ship. Not the ship that I have here, but most likely a frigate or an interceptor or something that can travel relatively quickly. What you do is you undock from the station, and then as soon as you undock, you're going to want to turn your Micra Warp Drive on. After you get your Micra Warp Drive on, burn, 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 burn. Eventually, you're going to get a bookmark way down away from the station where you're going to be able to just instantly warp to it. So the idea is when you're spit out of a station, you have a short invulnerability time shown in the top left. Before that time runs out, you want to right click on your bookmark and you want to warp to location. Now this bookmark's slightly off kilter, and so you'll notice I'm not going to enter warp instantly. I'm actually going to have to align myself first. This is bad. You want to get that Insta bookmark right. So you burn out there, make your bookmark, and then verify it, test it, make sure it works on the undocks. There's sometimes when you are making these Insta Undocks that it's going to go wrong. You're going to get bumped when you start doing it. It's going to mess up your entire trajectory. But once you have that, especially at the major trade hubs, always, always, always use it. It's the difference between life and death when undocking with valuable or invaluable cargo. So that's the Insta Undock. Next, we need to talk about how we're going to make an instant dock. To be able to make it, the point of an Insta Dock is you want to be able to land at 0 on the station and instantly dock up to the station without tornadoes or thrashers having a chance to blow you up. So to be able to do this, what you want to do is you want to burn as close to the station as possible. Now, generally, you're going to do this in a smaller ship than what we have here, but I wanted to holler to talk about the other topics, so we're going to do this nice and slowly. But the idea behind this is you're going to burn up and up and up until you get pretty much within the center of the station. And you're just going to keep on burning up into there until you get there. Now, once you get to a point you're happy, you're going to want to get a little bit closer to this. But once you get to the point that you're happy, you're going to make the bookmark and mark it as an Instant Dock. Beautiful. There's our Insta Dock. So let's go test this sucker out. We're going to head back to our Insta Undock that we have here. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is. So for an Insta Dock to work, you want to have your station that you're docking at set as your destination. Generally, if you're going to Jita or a Mar, you already have this set. Once you have this set, you're going to want to essentially warp to your Insta Dock. So as soon as we get out there, we'll show you what we're doing with it. Now, I am about to use the Micra Warp Drive trick, but we'll talk about it later, exactly what that is. So here we go. Right click. I'm going to warp to my instant dock, warp to location at 0. Once it says the warping down here, and it's got us warping to our active, we then want to activate our autopilot. You can left click it, or you can hit Control S as the default. Now, the reason we want to do the autopilot is as soon as we're capable, it's going to automatically dock the ship in the station. That's absolutely fantastic. So as you see, we're landing. If we put this inside the station in a good spot, we will always, always, always land at 0. Now, the difference between this and not using an Insta Undock is you might land further away than at 0, and you have to burn a little bit in. Right there, you see, we dock instantly. No more waiting outside the station, no more having to burn into the station, and no more dying to thrashers and tornadoes at Jita, at Mar, at any of the trade hubs around New Eden. Perfect. We've mastered those 2 techniques. Now we move on to the next technique, which is the Micra Warp Drive trick. Now, this can also be used with an afterburner. It doesn't have to be a Micra Warp Drive, but we're going to show it with a micro warp drive trick. Now, the way the micro warp drive trick works is that from a stopped position, we will warp to any place within 1 cycle of a micro warp drive. Any ship that can run a micro warp drive. This includes a hauler like you see here, a Tech 2 hauler, an Orca, a Bowhead, and I believe even a Titan. Now, the things that this does not work for is a freighter. And the reason is because you can't put a micro warp drive on a freighter, unfortunately. So it's very useful because we can look at our cycle time for the micro warp drive. And we can find our activation time duration. See, it's 10 seconds. So if our warp is going to take longer than 10 seconds, it's more valuable to us to use the micro warp drive trick. Now, to run the micro warp drive trick, you must be at a complete stop. So what we're going to do this is we're going to say, okay, this is our ship right here. We're going to warp down right to here, to our Insta Undock. We're going to hit the warp to location and then our micro warp drive on the same tick. And then we're going to turn our micro warp drive off. Now, as soon as this finishes, we're going to enter warp. Finished. And we're entering warp right there on the same tick. Beautiful. Within 10 seconds from hitting warp, we're out of there. This can quickly speed up things such as bowheads or orcas that have a long time to enter warp. Now, this is very nicely paired to when you're actually doing the cloak trick. Now, the cloak trick is fun. So what we do is we have this station that's a lovely 179 kilometers away. We're going to right-click, and we're going to approach. So I'm going to explain the process, then we're going to do it. I'm going to right-click and then approach. When that happens, I'm going to hit my micro warp drive and my cloak. Right when my micro warp drive is about to finish the cycle, I'm going to decloak and hit warp 2 at the same time. And I'm going to instantly enter warp. So one more thing I want to mention before we actually do this is make sure when you're doing the micro warp drive fit that you are running an improved cloaking device 2. If you're not running the improved cloaking device 2 and you're running a prototype, this will not work. You also must be running a micro warp drive that fits the class of ship that you're flying. So for haulers, it's going to be the 50 MN. So as we take this, all we have to do for the sun, we right-click that. We hit the align to, micro warp drive cloak. Micro warp drive goes off. Right-click this, and as soon as it's about to finish, wait for it, and cloak and warp.
Warp drive active.
And we are off. Now, the benefits to this is you want to do that because it does not allow people to be able to kill you easily, which is exactly what you want. Now, the only problems that can arise while you're doing this is it's possible there will be an enemy ship within 2 km of you. Be aware that all ships must be away at least more than 2K for you to be able to cloak up. Now, there's some great information about all these techniques on Eve Uni, and if you have further questions about them, please let me know and feel free to check them out. I hope this was very insightful to you guys. If you want more textual, detailed information, you can always search on Eve Uni. They've got good textual information about how to do each and every one of these techniques. Also, if you have further questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. Catch me on my stream or on Discord. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today for this wonderful Noob-Tastic tutorial. And I hope to see you all around and see you in game. As always, fly dangerously. Bye, guys.